Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. It is Dave. I took last week off from trading because I was on family vacation, so that is why there was no video. And I've been mostly out of touch for the markets for the past week and a half, 2 weeks anyways, just kind of doing my back work, back of the scenes homework and keeping up with things, but not necessarily trading as much as I do, simply because it is the end of the summer and volume has been rather low. Everybody's on vacation. It's been Labor Day. And so this is just a seasonally slow time. However, it is now after Labor Day and volumes are going to start picking up again. So let's get reorientated. Looking at the SPX, the cash index 500, we're 0.75% away from all-time highs. Honestly, if you just look at these lines, the white line's the 8 EMA, the blue line's the 21, this is the 50, and then this is the 200. If you just look at those trends and if price is respecting it, or honestly, if the trends are just up, you can keep it real simple. If it's trend tracking upwards, there's really nothing to be too concerned of yet. Pullbacks continue to be buy the dip type of situations. We'll see if that continues on. I don't know. Nobody does. So just be mindful if someone tells you that for sure they know, per usual. So looking at the SPY here, basically the same thing. RSP, this was the equally weighted index, so it takes out the heavyweights, the weight of the heavyweights, so it equalizes everything across the board. You can see that this is, the overall market equally weighted. It looks pretty decent. It's holding these highs here. You can say it's technically a little breakout. You got a nice little cup little handle on a very short term. Now listen, cup and handles are typically a longer time frame situation, but if you want to just talk about patterns, it kind of resembles it, right? Either way, it sets a lower high versus here and a higher high relative to these highs. So, and it's holding that prior breakout area. So we got a breakout and a retest and it's holding. Now we have close to an inside day. Did that high break 189.26? Yeah, so this technically is not inside day on Friday. But it's just chopping around within this 3-day consolidation. We'll see where it goes. QQQs, let's go to the NDX cash index for Nasdaq. This is actually closing underneath the 21 EMA. So this is when alerts kind of go up for tech being like, is something else going to come headed our way here? This trend line, don't put too much weight towards technical analysis or trend lines. It can be helpful, but if a big player wants to move inventory, they're going to do it. And it'll blow right through your line. So your line on the chart that you draw is not going to stop somebody from selling. So just be mindful of that. So we'll see what actually happens here. This is not a confirmed, well, let me see if I can connect it here. No, that does not work. So we don't have 3 tags here. We don't have 3 tags here. We'll see if it wants to bop around in here and see which way it may want to resolve in. Equally weighted Qs. You can see it's just chopping around inside of a consolidation zone here. You can say, hey, there are some quote unquote look above and fails. I don't follow that thought process really anymore. But if you look here, here's a box, right? And so it's looking below the box and it's going back above it and then looking above it and then going back. And so it's just basically ranging and consolidating, right? I'm just going to look for whichever way it wants to break. It is at the 50 EMA, it keeps chopping and holding-ish. It undercuts and then goes back above. The short-term MAs are just showing indecision. So what do we do here? Just sit on your hands, really. I don't trade this stuff. Not going to tell you what to do, but this is not something I trade. I want to be in something like this, something that is moving. This is a waste of my time personally. All right, let's look at the Dow. Up near all-time highs, only 0.39% away, so looking pretty good. You see everything's uptrending. So Russell 2000, nothing too crazy. Looks pretty good. 4% away from all-time highs, all the way up here. So let's see. I would see, it broke out here. Maybe we could get a breakout and a retest here of this 230. That could be a potential play. Maybe the 21 EMA lines up there for a potential confluence. Who knows? But either way, little pullback to retest that would not be the end of the world. And then to go retest the all-time highs could be a potential play there. Small caps, 2000, yeah, RET, we'll pass that here. We'll pass those too. All right, let's get into materials. XLB, uptrending. You can kind of see that it's retesting this prior level of supply once again, 5.7. So we'll see if it wants to actually break out of it. We are heading into this area with higher lows and higher highs. So we'll see if that trend continues on. XLC communications, you can see it's just holding. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Bummer. I'll just delete it. I don't know what it was. Sorry, what was I saying? It's consolidating up here, and we'll see if it wants to break out higher, right? I forget the percentage of XLC, percentage that it makes up weight-wise of the SPY. It might be one of the heavier ones, simply because Google's in there, and I think Meta's in there as well. All right, XLE Energy broke out of this consolidation area. So looking forward to potentially more upside. Maybe it has this 94.25-ish level to retest. It would probably chop around to get up there first. Financials looking good. I mean, it's 0.28% away from all-time highs. I don't know what you want me to tell you. This is just trending upwards. It looks healthy. XLI Industrials kind of just basing here. Has a little rounding-ish bottom, consolidating, tried to break out, but looks like it's going for a retest of this area. Whether it holds or not, we shall see. But overall, just kind of indecision and the shorter time frame right now. But longer time frame, it is obviously up. XLK, daily-wise, again, tech kind of getting hit a little bit. I don't know. Some people, I've been seeing them call this a bear flag. I don't know, nor do I really care. Price is below the anchor VWAP from this low. So if you care about that, be mindful. And what about this low? Tagging the anchor VWAP from this low. So it's holding that so far. We'll see if it actually stays at a particular level. However, if you look at, the 50 EMA, 200 EMA, all trending upwards still. A little correction, as I've been saying in the past, wouldn't do us any harm. XLP, this does nothing. I'm not wasting my time or your time. Same thing with real estate here. Utilities, nice little pullback. We're at the 50 EMA. We'll see where, if that wants to hold, it likes, it shows some respecting it in this area. So if you trade EMAs, which I do not, I just kind of look at the slope of the things. But, if you want to say, hey, I want to take a shot here, in the past, it respected the 50 EMA. I can't fault you. I just don't do that. At least you have some sort of idea and reason why you are taking that shot versus just randomly pushing buttons. And if you choose to do so, good luck. And that's with any setup, by the way, not just XLU here. XLV. Let's see. XLV. I wonder if this wants to set a little higher low. It did set a higher high, so it finally broke these levels of supply. And the next one would be 141-ish. So maybe we broke a high. We have a gap here that was not able to get filled. So healthcare might start turning around here. It got rejected at the 200 EMA, but if we can set a higher low versus down here, then break out and set a higher high, pull back and test the 200 and hold that, and then do like a trend reversal, that would be pretty solid. So let me draw out what I am thinking here. So we already had move up, hit the 200, pull back, set a higher low. Now we make a higher high and then a higher low, and then we continue on trend. And so the 200 EMA would be somewhere. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. And we go here, something like that, right? But break it, pull back, hold it, and then bounce. Could be a potential trend reversal here in healthcare. XLY, looking at consumer discretionary. This is a nice trend. We got the EMAs, they're sloping upwards. We're just getting a pullback here. Excuse my dog in the background if you could hear him. Level of supply, yeah, look at this. So prior area of supply was here, and that's basically where we found it now. So potential area of supply appears to be, coming true here. So looking for a higher low basis versed off of this low on August 21st. Bitcoin. this has just been getting hit. So from an all-time high of $124,517, is that flat? That is flat. That's pretty cool. And it's had a nice hefty pullback. Actually, I haven't looked at this in like a week and a half. Down 14% from all-time. Oh, I'm an idiot. 12.5% from all-time highs currently right now, but from the lows, about 14% from these recent lows. So now we have downtrending, down-sloping EMAs. We have the 200 coming up here, which is at about 104,190. That'll probably start creeping up here a little bit more as time goes on, but maybe the 200 wants to hold. We are basically at the breakout highs again. I don't know. That's gotta, ideally that holds. If it doesn't, we might see these levels down here closer to 100,000. And if that doesn't hold, maybe we see 93. Just staying potentials here. I'm not 100% sure. But we can also look at monthlies right now because we have new monthly bars as of today is September 1st. So monthly bars tell the bigger picture, right? I'm just going to scan through this again real quick to give the whole story, right? The overall trend is up on the monthly. Here's that little fun part we had in April, but closing near the highs in this buy, right? That's not bearish to me at all. Let's go to the Qs. Actually, I'll go to the Qs here. Again, closing near the highs here, 0.1. If we go to the Dow, closing at all-time highs on the monthly here. Nice breakout. I don't think, I don't actually pay attention to the Dow very much. Either way, that's not bearish to me. Closing at highs of the month is not bearish to me overall. Sure, we can have a pullback in September as volume starts coming in, and I forget off the top of my head if September is a seasonality slow. I'm pretty sure it is, but then pulls off strong at the end of the year. So we might see some of that, but look at this, like XLB materials, nearly an engulfing candle of last month's topping tail. So XLC closing at highs and bullish. Let's see what's a low there. 105.57, 105.64. Not quite an engulfing, just by a few cents, but basically an engulfing, right? XLE basically 84.16. Yep, an engulfing candle. On the monthly. Financials engulfing candle on the monthly. XLI inside month in industrials here, so I would look for a breakout on the monthlies. XLK kind of failed to hold the highs here, but also failed to break the lows of July. Tech might have a little bit more pullback in play. I'm not 100% sure. XLB, again, we've been over this. This is nothing, and in real estate, it's not doing nothing. But I would watch, and maybe something happens in real estate when, whatever, we get rate cuts. XLU utilities kind of broke out here. You can see it's going for the retest on the monthly. XLV, this is my slop. I'm just going to delete that because it looks like trash. Looks like it's basing. All right. Engulfing candle on the monthly. Let's see. Is that a sushi roll? 1, 2, 3. It is not a sushi roll. But it engulfed the past 2 months. So that's pretty strong. XLV has some promise, I think. And then looking at consumer discretionaries again on the monthly, we basically have engulfing candles. So if you look at it, a lot of monthly candles are engulfing July's. Now, I mean, that could be because of low liquidity, so it might be easier to push prices around. Maybe it's easier to push prices higher, and then we get some volume in, and when people come back trading, they say, hey, look, prices are higher. Let's take advantage of this and sell it down a little bit. That's always a potential. But either way, just to get a mark on the feedback, a mark on the market and get some feedback because I have personally been out of touch for a little bit. Hopefully this is helpful for you as a review. It's helpful for me to get my toes back in the water, especially as I start trading more towards the end of the year. Stay safe, stay prepped. Have a good one. Later.